Hello there. Good morning to you. Good afternoon to you. And good evening to you from wherever you are joining us. This is brunch time with Mayegun live. I bet you can hear me loud and clear. Can you? Thank you. Brethren, welcome to the temple of truth, the temple of uncomfortable truth. Read the caption of this broadcast. Read the description as well. Like it, share it, invite your friends, invite your not so friendly friends. Tell them that's Mayegun today, and you do know why we are here. It is to complete the reading of the controversial best-selling book or bestseller book, Nigeria and its criminal justice system, a judiciary saddled with unjust people, criminals, justice traders, manipulators, corrupt rogues who have thrived in this system for so long that they have built reputation for themselves, the reputation that they fear this book is ruining. It is too late now to stop the sale of the book. Over 100,000 copies of this book has made it to the hands of over 100,000 people around the world, in Nigeria and outside Nigeria. So, Babalola is a gang and crew and those who are working as his proxies. They acted very late. Even though they agreed in their shamelessness, they are asking, not just asking for the stoppage of the publication of the book, distribution of the book, they are asking their useless courts in Nigeria to order the proceed from the royalties from the book sale to be given to Babalola, the greedy, selfish old cretin in Ekiti. So what pissed them off? How did Dele Farotimi press the rage button of the career criminals in Nigeria, young and old? What did he say? What exactly is in that book? To those of you who have read the book, and to those of you who haven't, whatever it is that triggered this guy so mad, that got them so crazy, the action of Babalola and their collective criminals in Nigeria has prompted tens of thousands of people around the world to go buy the book. Without them, a lot of you will probably never be interested in what is written by Dele Farotimi. Many of you won't. It is obvious that the actions of these guys in the last 1 week has further given credence and credit to this book, right? Because everything that Dele Farotimi postulated in this book has played out in the last 1 week, which now justifies publication of this book. And it has been the driving force for its sale all over the world. Not just Nigerians are the ones buying this. Even non-Nigerians are buying it. It is the best-selling book in the whole world right now. Yes, it is. And the way they are going with the impunity in that system, where Dele Farotimi has been incarcerated, locked up, denied bail, and they are instituting different cases all over the place, shows that Dele Farotimi has triggered the establishment to try to want to bury him. But he said it in his own words. He said, if I must self-immolate for you to behold the extent of the rot in Nigeria, so be it. Right? I know. My lady, Liz, that's what I'm saying. The book has been published. It would have been published since last year, 2023. Dele Farotimi said he kept the publication till later so that nobody will come around and say, oh, because he supported Peter Obi and because they rigged him out, that is why he went to go and write a book. So he said this book is it's been in the pipeline. The work on this book has been in the pipeline for 11 years. So it wasn't something that he just woke up and decided to just, okay, you know, I'm going to write a book. No. But he did a great job here to tell us, not just about the Nigerian judiciary and how corrupt it is, but those who are responsible for the sustainability of that corruption and how they have shaped the direction in which the Nigerian judiciary has taken, the direction of a partition. The Nigerian judiciary is responsible for the criminals who are currently running governments in Nigeria to have legitimacy. The corrupt judiciary in Nigeria, as well as the likes of Babalola and his likes, including Ironipekun, the madman that represented Tifnumbu during the presidential, the presidential tribunal, the presidential election tribunal, presidential Supreme Court case. The man that told us that is a senior lawyer, he said, because Tifnumbu's Guinean passport expired, that simply means Tifnumbu's citizenship of Guinea had expired too. A senior advocate of nuisance in that contraption. They are also the same where I say, if you have been for any reason involved in any criminal activity, you cannot be president of Nigeria. They said the drug dealer, heroin trafficker, drug himself, the drug addict, Tifnumbu, certificate forger. They said the case is old, it's over 10 years. That it doesn't really matter. The same rogues in the Supreme Court. You see, it is a collection of. Yesterday, they announced that one Ogunwumiju. Look at this on your screen, right? The guy that sued Dele Farotimi for 500 million naira, working for Babalola, Kehinde Ogunwumiju, is adjudged to be the youngest person to become a son in Nigeria. Okay, normally to become a son in Nigeria, senior advocate of nuisance in Nigeria, you must have some amount of cases that you initiated and you won through the federal, whether it's going to be from the state high court, federal high court, appeal court, the Supreme Court. This guy, after 3 years of being called to bar, he became a son. That is the guy, right? We have no record of any of the cases he won, but his name is attached to some of the cases initiated by the chamber of Babalola. And his mama is a Supreme Court judge. Here you get. His twin brother, Taiwo Ogunwumiju, is APC, Egbekegbes member of the Ondo State House of Assembly. Do you see the pattern? Their mama be Supreme Court Justice, right? Elaine Morenikeji Ogunwumiju, the mofo, the mad woman that said, despite all the evidence we saw on screen during the during the presidential tribunal case, when the Obi Atifku, when they are carrying boxes of evidence to the court, Now that mad woman talk say Peter Obi, Atiku, they did not present any evidence to support their case against Tifnumbu. Atiku presented the what do you call it? The what's that place called again? The Tifnumbu's alleged school in America, Chicago State University, including the entire rigging process, how it was done. They presented all of this, but they said because this evidence were not presented at a certain time, so therefore they could not admit them as evidence. Now that mad woman can't read her own judgments in support of Tifnumbu that Obi did not present any evidence, Atiku did not present any evidence that Tifnumbu was a drug dealer in America. It's just a speculation. That INEC turned off IRF and rigged the election. They were just speculation. That Obi and Atiku were expecting them, Supreme Court, to help them manufacture evidence. Evidence where we see for TV. Here you go. But it's obvious anyway. She's APC, Egbekegbe member. Her son is APC, Egbekegbe member. Then another son, Kehinde, is working for Babalola. Do you get the whole logic now? So Dele Farotimi knows that he will probably never get justice. However, he said, if I must self-immolate for you to behold the extent of the rot in Nigeria, so be it. So do you see what you are up against right now? The reason why you will never see any justice in that contraption is because those interested parties, the people of interest in that contraption, they are more evil than you can imagine. So that's why we have to give it up for Dele Farotimi. Do not feel sorry for him. Do not cry for him. Just cry for yourselves. Because you see, whatever it is that they plan to do to him, he saw it coming. Have you forgotten? Days before his kidnapping and abduction from Lagos, he told us. A reminder.
It came to my knowledge that there is a charge that had been fraudulently preferred against me before a court in Ekiti State at the instance of Chief Babalola. This charge had been fraudulently preferred, hidden from view, and the court had purportedly demanded my presence multiple times, and I had failed to appear before this court. And this court had then proceeded to issue a bench warrant for my arrest. This is classic Babalola. I detailed his corruptive influence in my book, Nigeria and its Criminal Justice System. And what he has done is exactly what he has always done in hiding. But he has done it this time again. And the calculations were that I would have been picked up, taken before this judge who must have either been compromised or misled in Ekiti. And I would have been remanded in prison custody for being somebody who was meant to face trial and who had refused to bring himself to court. I am reliably informed that social media influencers had been paid to spin these narratives after my arrest. Human rights activists have been positioned to start speaking after my arrest, including one Agbaya. High offices in this country have been compromised in pursuit of my persons. High offices, from the Inspector General's office, because the police have been subverted. The Attorney General of the Federation needs to examine himself because his office has been somehow linked to this as well. I do not know if the presidency is directly involved in this, and I will not make frivolous charges. But high offices have been subverted in pursuit of a criminal purpose. I have committed no crime, done nothing wrong. If I have committed any wrong for which the state requires my attendance in a court or at a police station, they know exactly where I live. I will live only once, but I will not live cowering to any man. Let us be clear. If and when I have a charge to answer before a court, you all know where I live. I'm not hiding, and I'm not running away from anybody. Let us be very clear about that. I will never run away from Nigeria. We all have to pretend that we are in a democracy, and we have to pretend that we are citizens, and we have to pretend that we are a country ruled by law. And by all means, you will pretend that we are. I have done nothing. And if I have a charge that should be preferred against me, bring it on. I'm happy to come to court to have my day. If there is a crime, there must be justice, not only for the person who is aggrieved. There must be justice for the accused. And there must also be justice for the system. This is not how to build a rule-based system, where the system itself becomes so criminal that policemen were engaged in criminality.
He told us that. And just a quick one, okay? To some of you who like to be acting, should I say foolish or stupid? Yes, it is true. Dele Farotimi is a one Nigerianist, fine. But this is not the moment for you to possibly come and justify the injustice meted at him as we speak. Do you understand? So you can keep that to yourself, since you are not a one Nigerianist. Okay? So we shall continue from where we last stopped reading this book. As we speak, we all have one common enemy. And that common enemy is the establishment that want to kill all of us, or is already killing us. And whenever we have a chance to take them to the cleaners, we shouldn't hold back. I mean, we all agreed, didn't we, that if all of us want to have our ways, the first thing first is to remove the stumbling block. Whether you want a Biafra, or you want to do a nation, or you want a Kwararapa, or maybe in Arewa you want, or even if now one Nigerianist you want to have, this current establishment has to go. Yeah? And until then, the only stumbling block to all of that is this one united contraption that is united against every one of us, that criminalized self-determination, that criminalized free speech, that criminalized free assembly. That is the enemy of the people. So whichever block you belong to, never forget this. You can't go it alone. Whether you want Yoruba nation or you want Biafra nation, or you want whatever, anything you want from that contraption, you cannot go it alone. The establishment is united. And that is why they turned all of our advocacy into criminality, so that they could have a reason to either kidnap us, jail us, and even kill us. So remember that we are fighting a common enemy, and that is the establishment that has no tribe, it has no ethnic, it has no religion. We are the ones that are sort of identifying ourselves as this, that. When it comes to the establishment, they do not have any loyalty to anything. They do not have any patriotism to anything than themselves. They are united. And that's why it is called class war. If Nigeria is to break, the first thing that needs to break is this corrupt, rigged establishment. And it is beyond just the politicians. That's why we have this book. The people responsible for that, that unfair system that you have in that contraption, those who are holding it together, they are not just politicians. You have your religious leaders, Christians, Muslims, and name it, right? You have those who are in the legal profession. You have those who are in the economic, in the banking profession. You have a lot of them in different areas, including community leaders, royal fathers, who are all in it together to keep us in this similar bondage of ruin, bondage of destruction. Nigeria. Never forget that. Brethren, if you have your book, I'm sorry if you just got yours, okay? And somehow, you have not read to the point. We are continuing from chapter 6, and that is page 35. Now, if you think I am going fast or too fast, you can easily just say, Mayego, slow it down, okay? I will do my best to make it very much interesting to listen to. And I implore you to please share this. Okay? So let's go for it. Or should I give you a bit of a recap? Right? Or, okay, I think let's go. Chapter 6, the practice. I always knew that I was going to strike out on my own after spending 2 years, learning as much as I could from everyone that I would work with. I don't know how I came to know this truth, but I knew it just as I had known the several other immutable truths of God concerning my life. I always felt his powerful compass directing my course and channeling my aspirations towards the achievement of my intended pursuit. I just knew. The conception of my first child coincided with the time my mother, who had been subsidizing my pupillage, had her own immigration problems and couldn't return to the land of her economic exile. It was also the time when the entire family was at its lowest level economically. I was, as I had mentioned, squatting in my friend's house, and I did not have any money saved up. But I knew that my daughter's conception was the trigger and that it was time. I made a friend that I have held dear since our days together at the law school in Buhari, Femi Adekeye. Femi was one of the foreign educated law school students. A lot of them were staying at what used to be either the guest chalets or staff quarters of the institution that used to house what became the Nigerian Law School. This was sequel to Abacha's diktat that they be removed to Abuja, that his daughter, Gumsu, might safely attend law school from the family's compound in Aso Rock. I found Adekeye to be most unlike his fellow Buttrich fraternity. Now, we, the Okoko Bombers, as we called the caucus, we had formed during our undergraduate days at LASU, and which we had with the prime agency of our late brother, the effervescent and ebullient Obarinde Adeoba Okunsoya, made inroads into the school administration's system. We had made friends amongst key persons and greased necessary palms. We were allotted rooms in the chalet and did not have to bear the pains of the guinea pigs that became the first occupants of the new and horribly constructed hostel accommodation. I met Femi at Chester Terrace. Femi had earned a first degree from the Ondo State University. It was anything but butter. He was at home, eating with us from the cholera joint located behind our block, and was equally at home amongst the coterie of assorted cheeses and dainties he became acquainted with in the years of studying law abroad. Femi, an all-round good man, and he was a key player in God's plan for my life. Femi went to work with the legal department of what was at the time Prudent Bank. Immediately after we had been called to the bar, and by the time that I was leaving KOT, Femi was a key factor in affording me the confidence to walk in faith. Prudent Bank was paying 2,000 naira to lawyers for the CAC searches that they were obliged to conduct as part of the KYC and due diligence requirements before they might open corporate accounts. And Femi had been faithful in giving these briefs to friends that had braved going into practice on their own earlier. The meager amount of 2,000 naira per search added up to a tidy sum when it came in a consistent flow, and many a Buhari inmate asked Femi to thank for sustenance in the early days of our law practices. I am eternally grateful to him. I had made the acquaintance of another fellow student at the law school in Buari. I am unsure of how we might have met now, but Bola Hassan was a very jovial person and is imbued with a selflessness that is pretty rare in this climb. I had been running into Bola in courtrooms since we had left law school, and he appeared to be as much of a courtroom rat as I was.